Let's discuss the interview questions for business analyst. So the first question that the most of the interviewer would ask would be, can you brief me about your roles and responsibility as a business analyst? So the answer to this would be similar for almost all the business analysts, as the main core responsibility would remain the same, but there could be an addition based on the project perspective. So one of the answers could be, the roles and responsibility as a business analyst include, I elicit the requirements from subject matter expert and document them into user story or functional requirement document. There could be various documents in which business analysts would document the requirements based on the methodology. If we are using the agile methodology, then the documentation that we're going to use would be user story document. Whereas if we use the waterfall methodology, the documentation would be either functional requirement document or use case document. After that, I explain the requirements to development team, which include web, mobile testing, business intelligence, and user experience team in the technical aspect so that they can create the application. Once we get the sign off from the subject matter expert that the requirement is as per what we understood, then the business analyst would explain the requirements to the development team. After that, the team would create that application or that feature. I review the test cases for the requirement so that all the features in a requirement can be tested thoroughly. I follow up on the support or bug tickets with the development team. So there could be various there could be various support or bug tickets, because while creating an application, the application may got something that this is some feature is not working within that application. So for that, support ticket or bug ticket would be created, and as a business analyst, we need to follow up. We need to firstly explain the the ticket to the development team, and then we need to follow up on that. I create release notes document before the release and also have project manager in creating various document such as project charter, statement of work, and others. So as a business analyst, apart from that FRD, use case document, user story document, we also create the release notes, and we also help project manager in various documentations. So that's all about the roles and responsibility. Moving to the second most important question in a business analyst role. Uh, what techniques do you use to gather requirements? What questions do you ask to subject matter expert while taking up the requirements? As we know that the main core roles and responsibility of a business analyst include is the requirement gathering. So there would be various questions on that. So the answer to this question could be, the technique that I use to gather the requirements are interview or discussion, document analysis, prototyping. And we can explain these techniques as well. So prototype. So let me explain the document analysis. So document analysis is, the business analyst would create up the document, and then the business analyst would ask the subject matter expert to review it. And once the subject matter expert give the feedback, based on that feedback, we can update our requirement. So based on this document, we are getting some requirement. We can get some requirement as well. So that would be one of the technique. Other technique could be prototyping. So prototype is created by the UX team. So once the business analyst tell the requirements to the UX person would create a prototype, and we would show that prototype to the subject matter expert or to the client, so that we can ensure that uh, we are meeting up with the expectation of the clients. And the question that we can ask to the subject matter expert while gathering the requirement would be, who are the end user for this requirement, for this particular feature, how this requirement will benefit the users. And we can ask other questions, other functional requirement questions as well. So this is the prototyping, this is the interview discussion, and by document analysis also we can gather the requirements. Third most important question for a business analyst role would be, how do you document the requirements? What are the key components that you mention in the document? So based on the project methodology, we use different document to gather the requirements. In the waterfall framework, we use functional requirement document or use case document. And in agile methodology, we use user story document. So, so we need to explain more to the interviewer so that we can tell the interviewer that we have a in-depth knowledge of that particular thing. So we also need to explain what are the key components in that documentation. So the key components for functional requirement document would include scope, system impacted, assumption dependencies, as is and to be process, functional requirement with wireframes. The key components for user story document are user story, scope, and acceptance criteria. So, so these are the most important questions. Rest will cover in the next video sessions. Thank you.